Okay. I know 446 views is not that many in the grand scheme of things, but I thought this video was going to reach a grand total of 10 people, so I'm happy people are finding it, and nobody's disliking it. There are people in the comments asking me to make more, so I'm going to do that. Maybe it was the awesome thumbnail I made. I mean, look, I photoshopped the knife a different color, you know, like a scumbag, so people would click on it, and Vegeta's looking studious, so how can you not click on this? Anyway, I started with Anubis because every time I play that map, nobody knows any Util. It pisses me off. It's not that hard, you guys. Just learn new Util for new maps. Now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Mirage has been out for forever. Everybody knows what to do on Mirage, or at least they think they do. But CS2 has brought a lot of changes. I don't want to waste your guys' time with stuff that you probably already know. So I'm just going to go over things that have maybe changed a little bit, have more nuance, or things that I do differently that maybe you guys can borrow from. Let's start at this position on the right side of the trash can. So there's the new updated window smoke position. It's like the old one where you hold the throw. But I also want to show you, before you throw that smoke, you can have your teammate drop you one. You line up with this line, the bottom, and then go a little bit to the right. I find that makes it just a tad bit more consistent. And you get a bottom connector smoke that's going to spread to the whole thing. And if you do these, if you throw a connector and then window, you have a good order for your teammates to peek out. And then after throwing these, run up here, walk and jump throw at this. And that's a great pop flash. Pretty loose. If your teammates are peeking window, it won't blind them, so it won't go in front of them. It might blind them if they run all the way out. Then, pushing up from here, there's another smoke you can learn. Get into this corner, aim at the tip of the antenna, jump throw. That's going to land top connector. If you don't want to run all the way back to do it, you can also do it from this corner by aiming at this dark spot. I have found that this lineup is just a tad bit less consistent. As you can see, there's a tendency for it to sometimes stop up here. But so far this has worked for me. And then from here, here's a pop flash lineup for connector. You aim at the top right corner of this X. And that's going to land beautifully. And then this is mostly just a personal note to myself. I used to molly window by aiming up here, running, and releasing it sometime in between when you start accelerating and when you hit max velocity, which is just so unnecessarily precise. I didn't realize I was really doing it like that. That's just how I did it. So much easier to just aim down here, go up to full speed, and slam dunk with the molly. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Now let's move on to B. If you want to support a cat rush from B, you can actually jump throw a flash from this corner, you know, where you would usually throw the market window smoke. You want to jump throw right here. And this is going to blind anybody holding cat. They're going to have no idea where this came from. It's not even on their screen. And then I also wanted to show, from this position, instead of throwing the window smoke the old way, you can aim at this little brick that's sticking out. And what this does is it lands on the boxes, which is not that important, but it does just generally spread less out into here. And so if people try to push out, because there's this like little plume of smoke that surrounds players running through smokes, it's going to be easier to catch people off, and their movements are going to have to be a lot more precise if they want to safely lurk into the smoke and then out of it. And then guys, please, why don't we know these smokes? It's been like a million years since this map came out. You go up to the right side here, you find this roof and this antenna right in the middle, and click, and then you just run somewhere under this lamp and aim right here. It's not that precise, especially with how big the smokes are these days, and you can smoke off both sides of arches. And then I was finding ways to optimize the bench molly, and I find that if you go up against the wall into this corner, just so you can't see the green, and then you aim right about here and just do a little run forward and throw, it spreads into jail most of the time, and also covers all of back here, which is very good. This will push the jail player forward, and even if it misses, like it doesn't go all the way forward, few people actually have the mental resilience to stand with a Molotov that's right at their toes and hang on to this angle. So it's a good molly to throw in general, even if you just like kind of just wing it, like you're just throwing it window, you're going to get a lot of good results. Alright, now let's look at A. This is something that I'm actually quite excited to share. I'm sure other people have covered this, but you can actually throw all of the major smokes from this position, and knowing this on your team is super valuable. Just make sure people drop their smokes actually at your feet so you aren't doing mini retrieval missions between smokes, and you can throw all of these in a timing where they all bloom at basically the same time. It's actually quite cool. So you're just one after the other going to throw these, and then you're going to wait until the smoke crosses your screen up here to throw the CT one. And they're all going to pop at the same time. How satisfying is that? One thing to remember is that this one does kind of come out a little bit wide, so it's extra important that you throw them all in here. You should be doing that anyway, though. This is just, you know, basic protocol. If the CTs are good at the game, they're going to want to push out here. So just do that. And then after you're done throwing these smokes, you can just walk up a little bit and throw the land flash over the city nose. If you throw this smoke right, you get an optimized stairs smoke that doesn't spread into sandwich. Shout out to Styko from Apex for showing me how to molly under Valk here. What you're going to want to do is line yourself up, make these two lines disappear. What's cool about this is you can line it up while you're holding this angle. If you really want to focus on this angle, it's also the, like, split the triangle in this A in half. Like so. And then you're going to want to aim right around here and release when you pass the doorway. And then if you're smoked off, you can line up with this. Aim, find this crack, and go down from here. If you have the big crosshair, this will help you line it up. And it's the same thing. If you're banking flashes off of this little bevel in the wall, what's good is to get yourself up on here when you throw it. That way you can make sure that it's not going to bump into, like, the edges of the door frame. And then I also wanted to showcase some stuff from Tetris. So if you're up here, you find the corner of you find the corner of the box. So this little part, and you're just gonna make sure you're, like, kind of at the right side tip of it, and just left click. And this is an all-purpose Molotov that will spread into Ninja, Firebox, and Default. And then from the same position, you can also smoke CT by aiming at the corner of this window. Now, a lot of people know that you can smoke deep jungle by coming up to the bottom of Tetris here, aiming right here, and just left-clicking. But if you do basically the same lineup from this position, except go to the left a considerable amount, you will get a more standard jungle smoke, which actually blocks off connector. Now let's go over to CT side. Right now the meta on CT is to get very aggressive on mid. And so a lot of your game plan is structured around supporting a player up here. So what you want to do is try to learn these pieces of Util. So if you smoked off window right here, you want to know this Molotov. You aim at the corner, and then you're going to walk and look at your minimap so you're right in the middle of sniper, and then you're just going to run. And you should practice this movement so that you can do it quickly, because this is a very, very important Molotov to help your teammate with. Because if they're pushing up, sometimes they could get flashed and there could be a timing where your opponent crosses behind boxes, and then your teammate's going to get caught off guard. If you are the one pushing, there's all sorts of creative flashes you can do. You can throw one off the corner like this, which pops at a very good spot, although the timing of it is not always ideal. You can also just left and right click throw right here. When I was messing around, sometimes you can get a nice flash that bounces off of here, but it is a little bit inconsistent. It's just a fun and flashy way that you can blind your opponents. And then, of course, you always want to be trying to throw either an HE or a molly up here to suppress them as they're pushing you. And what's very important is that you call for your A-site player to flash you. If you ever are the A-site player and somebody tells you to flash mid, the safest way is to walk at here and jump there. But this is not always going to get them the most blind. This will make sure that your teammate doesn't get blind to it, especially if they're random. Another way is to throw it like this, running jump throw. This is going to land a little bit closer to the T's, but if you aren't well coordinated with your teammate and they run out, there is a chance that it could land. Now let's talk about B site. There isn't really a lot to know other than the standard stuff that people were already throwing. For example, heap like this. Just always remember that it's still very strong to drop a smoke here so that you have something to play around and you can isolate duels as a B anchor. Your goal is to stay alive, so remember that that's in your toolkit. Another thing is from Cat. First of all, there's a really nice flash. You're going to hold Shift, S, and then left click throw. And this, you can self-flash yourself out with this if you time it properly. If there is somebody chair, maybe you get a call from your teammate, back up onto the wall, look for the antenna, and then you're going to aim at the corner of this brick, shift walk, jump up, and this is going to dunk on anybody who's hiding the chair. Window smoke is just coming in. You've supported your teammate with this molly. Now, what do? If you want to help, you can right click, aim right around here. It's hard when there's smoke. Right click, jump throw. You get a nade that blows open the smoke for you to support your team. If the smoke is fortunate enough to land so that you can actually see, the proper lineup is right at this little, like, dark spot. I don't know how visible that is. It's just a little dot. This will destroy the smoke, and it won't damage you. You can see I'm at 12 HP, and I'm absolutely fine. That's about everything that I can think of right now. Please let me know if there's, like, a major, like, new development piece of utility that I'm missing, because I am trying to learn all of this stuff as it gets discovered, and I might have just not known it or forgotten about it. Again, thank you to the 400 people who watched the last one. I know that's a very insignificant number, but to me, you know, it's the most traction I've ever gotten on a YouTube video, so hope you enjoy. If you leave a like, it'll make me happy, but not required at all. Have a good one.